Hello everybody, hello, and it's great to be back. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I did send out a notice a few days ago. I was away. I went away on a trip with my family. Took my dad. We went out to the Midwest. I won't get into the whole trip thing. I'll just say it was a trip that we saw some family, had a great time, and happy to be back. So I haven't been able to do some videos for a while, but I got a couple in mind. I'm going to try to get them done today for you. And this first one I'm very excited about, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself with this first one because this is an artist, a musical artist, who is probably in my top 5. I love these guys. I've been a fan since I was a teenager. They're one of my favorite bands, artists, musical groups, whatever you want to call them, rock and roll bands. They are right up there, folks. You know I love the Beatles. They're my number one. Elvis is up there. Buddy Holly is up there. So many power pop groups that I love are up there. But Cheap Trick is a band that I have loved forever. They are, I don't know how else to express it to you, and I'm just so bummed out at myself. I'm like, how did I go 2 years in this music community we love so much and not do a dedicated video to Cheap Trick? I may have mentioned them in passing. Maybe I've shown an album or two when I've talked about power pop. But how I've neglected them and not done dedicated videos to them is beyond me. I don't know how it slipped by me, folks. So I'm going to rectify that over the next year, I think. I think I'm going to be doing several Cheap Trick videos this year. Haven't decided what they'll all be about, if I'll review albums or show you some of my favorites and talk about them, or some different pieces of memorabilia I have. But I thought I would start today with doing a Cheap Trick ranking of their studio albums only. I'm not going to do the live stuff like Budokan. I'm not going to do compilations like the greatest hits. I just want to take their 18 studio albums, which they have up till now, and let's hope they can have 19 and 20, I hope, before their career ends. You know, they're getting up there too. But they're still active. They're still out there rocking it. You know, like I don't know how many nights a week, but they're out there doing it, folks. And they haven't lost a thing. They are fantastic. If you get a chance, see Cheap Trick before it's too late. I guarantee you, I've seen them many times over the decades. They are fabulous, fabulous rock and roll band. Anyway, let's get back to what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to rank all their 18 albums from bottom to top. I'm going to show them to you mainly on CD. I figure CD will go a little quicker. There's only one that I do not have the CD, so I'll be showing you the album. Okay, the rest will be CD. And again, just studio albums only, just the 18 studio albums. And again, this is my kickoff. Took me 2 years, but finally doing some Cheap Trick videos, and I'm hoping to do a lot more this year, as I mentioned. Okay, so let's get right into, and before I start, I hope you like my Cheap Trick sweater. This is a gift from my son and his fiance. They gave this to me a couple of years ago, and I don't get a chance to wear it often. I mean, you're not going to go out to, to church or go to the local fancy restaurant wearing this, or maybe you would. I don't know. It's a little formal with the tie, but anyway, thank you to my son and his fiance for this. And a couple other cool things I have is I have Cheap Trick's autographs. Yes, I do. When they made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2016, I don't know if you can see this too good with the glare. I did the best I could to cut out the glare. It's a professionally framed. But in 2016, this special commemorative print was made, and you had to be a member of the fan club, the online fan club, and it was not too pricey. But I'll be honest with you, I had to break open the piggy bank a couple extra times to get this. But it's a special edition, a limited edition sign. There's Rick Nielsen's autograph, Bunny Carlos, Tom Peterson's right there in black. I don't know if you can see it. And there's Robin Zander's over there in black. I hope you can see it. Beautiful print with images from their In Color album. Done very artsy looking, very nice. And this hangs proudly in my music room down here. Someday I'll give you a tour of my music room. But Cheap Trick's autographs from the, even Robin wrote on his autograph, HOF, Hall of Fame, which I thought was kind of cool. And back here, I have a platinum album of Dream Police. Hope you can see that okay. A beautifully framed platinum edition of the Dream Police album with a little plaque down here talking about the album and with a little picture of it right there. And One of my favorite DVDs of sets of Cheap Trick is you get a DVD of the Budokan concert, and you get 3 CDs with all kinds of cool, from the Japanese tour that year, 78, you get all kinds of cool audio from the shows. So anyway, I put that there. Actually, you know why I actually put that there? Because I had to angle the autograph thing so much to cut out the glare that this little thing is kind of like a foundation holding it from slipping and falling on the floor and smashing. So that's why I put that heavy DVD there. So yeah, it's for visual purposes, but it's also to, you know, keep my little display alive here. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, Cheap Trick's 18 albums. Number 18 is The Doctor from 1986. Just not my favorite album, folks. It's at the bottom of the heap. It's a shame because there are some great written songs on here, like It's Up to You and Are You Lonely Tonight? I like Take Me to the Top. It's Only Love. There's some great songs on here, but the production stinks, the cover stinks, and there's some really lousy songs on here. So, Doctor, sorry, 1986, number 18. Number 17 might surprise a few people. I know there's a few people out there in Cheap Trick world that love this album. I really don't. I've tried to get into it and I just can't. From 2003, number 17 is Special One. I just can't get into this album, folks. It's just not one of my favorite Cheap Trick albums. Again, when I'm doing this ranking, by the way, if I make some put downs here and there, it's not that I hate any of these albums. I like every Cheap Trick album. I like songs on every Cheap Trick album. There's some great songs, but I have to rank them. So sorry, Special One, number 17. A couple of good songs on here I like Scent of a Woman. I like My Obsession. Might be a couple others, but sorry, number 17 for me. Okay, number 16 is one of their fairly recent ones. It's the first one without Bunny Carlos on drums. Dax Nielsen, Rick's son, took over on drums for this album. It's from 2016. It's called Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. Okay album. There's some good songs on it. It's not bad. Happy to see a band that I love so much still in 2016 making new music. I wish Bunny was still with them. Nothing against Dax. Great guy from what I hear. Great drummer. But just not one of my favorites. Bang Zoom Crazy Hello, number 16. Okay, number 15 from 1982 is One on One. Okay, Roy Thomas Baker produced this album. He produced The Cars, he produced Queen, and so many others. But I don't think he did the greatest job on the production on this one. This, again, has some great songs that I love. It's not a bad album, but the production and a couple of the songs are clunkers, you know, so have to rank this a little low. Number 15, One on One. Okay, number 14 from 1985, Standing on the Edge. I like a lot of the songs on here, but it's again, some of the songs are kind of stinky and the production's so-so, but it's okay. Again, don't dislike it. There are times I get in the mood for this album and I'll crank it up. It's a pretty heavy rocking album, but sorry, number 14 for me. Okay, what do I got next here on my list? Okay, number 13 from 2017, their most recent album, I don't have the CD, is We're All Right. Okay, here's the back. Not a bad album. There's some great songs on this album. There's some a couple of lousy songs on this album. Overall, I like it for being the newest Cheap Trick album. And here they are, as I said, with Bang Zoom Crazy, still recording after all these years. God bless them, right? But I'm sorry, it's number 13 because there's just 12 other albums that blow this away, in my opinion. But it's still good. If you're a Cheap Trick fan, I would recommend it. Absolutely. Okay, where am I? Okay, number 12 from 2009, The Latest. I like this album. Very Beatlesque. Has a lot of great songs on it. And it's, again, from here on up, folks, I'm not going to really have too much bad to say about these albums. Not that I have anything really terribly bad to say, but it's just, they have so many great albums, folks. Again, I'm going to say it. I highly recommend Cheap Trick. Check them out. When a band puts out 18 albums and maybe only the bottom 2 or a couple that I don't listen to that often, but everything else I get in the mood for and crank it up, that says a lot for the artist when they can put out so much quality material. And this is a pretty good album. Number 12, 2009, the latest. Okay, from 1990, number 11 is Busted. Busted. Great album. This is the one that was kind of the album that came after their big comeback in 1988. Came out in 1990. Some great songs on here, some good rockers. I like this album. Saw many shows from this tour. Just a great, great piece of music. A couple of good guests are on this album, one being Chrissie Hynde from the Pretenders. Sings with Robin Zander on one song. She sings a little background stuff, but it's a great song. Again, I'm not going into a lot of details on these albums. I'm hoping to do more videos this year where I can really delve into them a little bit. So I'm just, for today, keeping it basic. Number 11, Busted, 1990. Top 10 Cheap Trick studio albums. Number 10, 1994's Woke Up With a Monster. This one also was recently released on vinyl. And I gotta say, folks, for kind of like semi-later period Cheap Trick, it's a great album. Great rockers, great ballads on it. It's a great, great piece of music. Highly recommended. I never really liked the cover on it. You know, like kind of, I don't have the Doctor handy right now, I put it down, but the Doctor cover stinks. Cheap Trick usually has some pretty good album covers. I really don't like this one. It's kind of lousy. I always liked this picture of them on the inside of the sleeve. I thought that would have made a better album cover. But Woke Up With a Monster is a good album, number 10 from 1994. Okay, number 9 from 1988, their comeback album, if you want to call it that, Lap of Luxury, 1988. All right, there's the front again. This was their big comeback. It has the Flame on it, which made number 1 on the charts. It has their cover of Elvis Presley's Don't Be Cruel, which made top 10 on the charts. It has one or two other top 40, top 100 hits on it. It's a great album. The only downside, a lot of purists don't like this album in the Cheap Trick camp because they used a lot of outside writers for the songs rather than the band members themselves. This is the first album where they had a lot of songs thrown at them and recommended to them by the record company, and they went along with it, and it ended up, you know, they did write songs on this album, but a lot of outside writers help on this album, and that's always been kind of resented by the band. So, but it's still a great album, great comeback for them, put them back on top of the charts again in the late 80s, and I do love this album. Number 9, Lap of Luxury from 1988. Number 8, I love this album, Next Position Please from 1983, produced by the great Todd Rundgren. Again, the record company did meddle a little bit with this. They forced a couple of songs on them that I really don't like on this album, threw them at them. If you took those 2 songs off and put a couple others on, this would probably rank higher for me on the list. But it's still a great album, and I recommend it. 1983's Next Position Please. Okay, where am I? Number 7 from 1980, All Shook Up. This is the big one, produced by George Martin of Beatles fame. Okay, you all know the name George Martin. I thought he did a great job on this album, and I thought the band did a fantastic job with this album. I love this album, except for one song on this album, and again, I'm not getting into details, but one song on this album I really don't care for. All the rest are stellar. Great, great music, and George Martin did a great job producing, well-written songs, rockers, slower songs, Beatlesque. Get this one, All Shook Up from 1980. I can't recommend it enough. Number 7. Number 6, kind of later period Cheap Trick, and they still had it. Number 6 is their self-titled Cheap Trick album from 1997. Great album, folks. Highly, highly recommend this one. Okay. Again, they have 2 albums titled Cheap Trick in their catalog. This is the second one that came out titled Cheap Trick. Again, so don't get them confused. This is the 1997 one, late 90s. Great album, great album. Get it. Okay, that was number 6. Number 5 is In Color. I love In Color. It's their second album that came out, 1977, early 1977, and it's a keeper, folks. Oop, don't want to drop it. It's a keeper. There's the front and back together. All right, great album. Can't recommend this enough. This just has so many great songs on it, and that's it. I want to keep this video moving. Number 5. Number 4, Heaven Tonight, their 3rd studio album, and it is a wonderful album, folks. Highly recommend it. It has Surrender on it. So many great songs. I mean, you're getting to the point now with the last 3 or 4 where there's no bad songs on these albums. You know, albeit like All Shook Up has that one bad song I don't like, but you're talking great music here, folks. Highly recommended. Heaven Tonight, number 4. Number 3, and this is kind of late period Cheap Trick, and man, they knocked it out of the park with this one. Who would have thunk in the late 2000s, the first decade, 2006, they came out with, which is one of my favorite Cheap Trick albums of all time, Rockford. What a wonderful, wonderful album, folks. They just, you know, to put an album out like this out so late in their career, you've got to give them credit. I mean, this album is beautiful, and it really didn't sell a lot, folks. So probably many of you out there who are kind of casual Cheap Trick listeners haven't heard of it. Please, I mean, get all their classic stuff, but get this one. If you want to hear a later period Cheap Trick album, which is right on top and one of the best with all their best work, get Rockford, and tell me this, that you don't love this. This is a fantastic record, folks. Check it out. Rockford, number 3, 2006. Okay, and any of you Cheap Trick hardcore fans know what the last 2 are, but how will they fall in the order? Well, I had to go with my heart on this one. Number 1 is one that's really close to my heart, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But my number 2 is the first Cheap Trick album, and it's the first one, Untitled Chapter, from 1977, early 77, recorded late in 76. Their first ever album is my number 2. Man, this album, there's not a bad song on it. It's just, I can't recommend this enough. Classic Cheap Trick. Please check it out. Cheap Trick, 1977. Number 2. And number 1, and if any of you know Cheap Trick out there, you know what it is, and you see it on display back here. My number 1 is Dream Police. Here's my cassette. I'm going to show you my still sealed copy of Dream Police on vinyl. I love this album so much, folks. Some Cheap Trick fans might be shaking their heads. How can that be number 1? It's got to be one of the first 3 albums or something. No, this is my favorite Cheap Trick album. Always will be. Yes, it's their most successful commercially. It's probably at their artistic peak, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it, from the early days. But I just love this album. It came out in 1979. It's my number 1. That's a special year for me. That's the year I graduated high school. I was, you know, an 18-year-old, 18-year-old teenager. I was just going in the military, and around the time this album came out. So, you know, hearing this album just fresh out of high school, going into the service, you know, then eventually going overseas and bringing this album with me, and so many other people loved it in my age category, and there's not a bad song on it, like many of their albums, but this one, gotta go with my heart, folks. This is my number 1 Cheap Trick album, Dream Police. There it is, Platinum Edition back here. Now you know why I plunked down the money to get this, because I love this album so much. I wanted to honor it in a special way in my music room, so it hangs proudly down here. But folks, you know, get this one, get all the classics, get Rockford, start somewhere. I mean, if you want, you can start with things like compilations. I would recommend, I didn't want to rank it as an album, but Live at Budokan, the complete Budokan concert. God, there's so many great compilations you could get. The Greatest Hits, the Essential Cheap Trick. Start wherever you want to start, but get some Cheap Trick. Love them, great band. I'm going to be talking more about them in 2019, so don't worry, I'll be back. And hey, maybe the sweater will be back too. What do you think? You like the sweater? If so, I'll wear it, or if you don't like it, I'll wear something else. You just tell me what to do. Anyway, God bless everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy Cheap Trick. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.